Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3. Hello, and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am Darren Moser, joined as always by my fellow Strandies here, Philip and Daniel. It may be the week of May the 4th, but we're not talking Star Wars, much to my chagrin. It's still Star Trek. We haven't rebranded the podcast.
Well, hang on. Well, hold the phone.
Uh-oh.
We did.
I don't know. We did rebrand. No, I don't normally, participate in such things as May the 4th, but I did, and it's been a while since I've really interacted with Star Wars at all. But I had a buddy over the other night, and he started the game Jedi Fallen Order, the first one.
Oh, I know of this game.
Yes, Darren. In fact, we got to see, because he was playing through the start of the game, we got to see the introduction of BD1. And, God, that game is so good. Yeah, that's such a good game. I love those games so much.
The meet cute is adorable. And he's just like, oh, I guess I'm waiting for you. And it's like, what's your name? It's like, beep, 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 boop, boop. Oh, hey, BD1. It's like, I'm really glad you speak droid. Otherwise, you'd be like, hey, you.
Yeah.
For the rest of the game. But,
well, everybody in the Star Wars universe speaks at least 12,000 languages. So,
but there's some that don't speak droid. Like most do, but there are some that do not understand the beeps. I think they should just fake it, because that's what I do. That's cool, though. Yeah, no,
maybe that's what everyone's doing. It's like a very just like Emperor's New Clothes situation. We're like, no, yeah, I know what he said. You know what he said. Yeah.
That would be funny. And all the droids are just pissed off because they're like, nobody understands us. Everybody pretends they do.
C-3PO's like, that's not what he said at all. What are you talking about?
No, cool. Yeah, that's a great beginning. I'm trying to think. Yeah, as I call it, Bogano, the safe planet. Like there's bad guys, but there's no empire there. It's relatively safe. You can learn, practice your flips and jumps, and
you won't find it on any map, Darren. That's how it's so safe. I don't know why that's a thing, but that's okay.
Star maps are really important in Star Wars.
They are. It's true.
Well, as we're talking about Star Wars now, since you brought it up. Yeah, no, I had really a lot of fun this week. A lot of Star Wars events with May the 4th is often our busiest time of year as we go to many events. I got to go to an airport, which is always fun because you wouldn't think...
Said no one ever?
I know. That's the thing. You wouldn't think airports are fun. This was Southwest Airlines, and they brought us into Ontario and got a lot of great pictures with our characters and droids. And so often we just go to the terminal and we're just standing there, so there's a certain flight that just came in and comes into the airport, and we're just, hey, welcome to Star Wars Day. And it's quite a surprise, and they often enjoy that a lot. So sometimes we'll go down the tarmac and wave at the planes. So, but yeah, so that coupled with a hospital visit, which was really enjoyable for pediatric patients, but getting to do that with my new remote control droid so that I could be hidden, but the droid could go into the room and explore and just kind of be a little more real was really cool. And I always get to enjoy doing that. I know a lot of people have been actually watching episode 1 because I think they re-released it in theaters for a few times. So we finally hit it, guys. We finally hit episode 1 being popular again. It only took like 20, 25 years for it to come back around.
And again, not a Star Wars podcast, but what is your 100 words or less episode 1? Because I feel like, and again, not part of the community, but like the buzz or the I don't know, the common wisdom was like after the sequels, there was sort of a reappreciation of the prequels, where it's like, and look, I'm broad statements. We're like, oh well, they weren't as bad as these, but then there's other people who are like, no, I remember them and they were not. But I was wondering what 30 years later, 20 years later, or whatever it's been, 15 years later, what do you think of episode 1?
No, you're right. And I get what you're saying. There was a lot of like, oh man, they weren't good like the prequels. I'm like, I remember you guys all hating the prequels. Like, what? It takes a while to sink in, I guess. Yeah, I'd say episode 1 is a lot of fun. It does a lot of good stuff. It kind of just bit off more than it could chew. You look at the ending and there is so much going on and it's so interconnected that you can't simplify it. And I think that kind of got away from itself. Like there's a lot going on. It's not, the kind of simplified, just blow up the Death Star and then, yay, everyone's happy, get a medal. It's like, yeah, we're fighting the Sith and we're blowing up a spaceship and we're fighting a ground-based planetary,
and pod racing.
Army.
Don't forget pod racing.
Well, that was more in the middle, but yes.
No, because he says, Anakin specifically says, this is pod racing. So
like pod racing.
He didn't say that. That's not the line. You know the line, Darren. I know you do.
I do. Yeah, every time I something works on my droid for the first time, I often think of Anakin working on his pod racer, being like, it's working. It's like, we're so happy. But no, I think, give it a fair shake and you'll have a fun time. It's a fun movie and it doesn't have to be super serious, and you can have Jar Jar and silliness and all of that. So yeah, there's 101 words. Sorry, I went over a tiny bit.
No, and look, I know trade negotiations and treaty violations are always fun for me, so I agree.
Well, it reminds me of our first sensor sweep of the neutral zone. We all have our very, gotta run the ship day to day. Really exciting. That's what I want to learn about. But that's not what we're talking about today. Although I will start. Philip shared a little bit about what he was up to. But Daniel, have you been up to any Star Trek shenanigans this week?
No. It's the answer to
just
that
playing Star Wars games. Okay.
Well, I was watching a Star Wars game. That's right. I didn't play it again.
Did you have $5 extra or something?
But
that's true. They are very cheap right now.
And this isn't Star Trek related, but I will just tell you, since we briefly talked about it, I started Fallout.
Okay.
And it's good. We're about 2.5 episodes
in. The TV show.
The TV show, yes. Yep. That's right, yeah. I also, yeah. So yeah, that's all about it. No, I haven't. Again, I am still in my decision-making phase of what remake I want to do. I think I'm just going to pull the trigger and watch Encounter, so I can watch some TNG again.
Dun, 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 dun,
I mean, you could always just pop in the animated series and knock it out in 22 episodes. Like,
I've gone this long without finishing it, so
you'll never know how it ends.
Well, Kirk is a jerk. That's all you need to know. But yeah, so with today not being Star Trek Day or anything close to Star Trek Day, but again, being around a lot of sci-fi costumes and seeing sci-fi costumes in commercials with Apple and T-Mobile, I think. I was thinking about how, there's a lot of costumes out there, but man, does Star Trek have like so many costumes. Philip, I think you were pulling out your encyclopedia and looking at just a thin slice.
I know. This is just TMP and TNG alone with, some light DS9.
It makes me look back at the Berman era and kind of be like, how did we have so few costumes really in that era? Like we went from the TNG, like we went through only 3 changes. That's like average 1 per show. That's really not that bad.
No change for Voyager.
No, but but they were. That's true. They were piggybacking off of the. Of DS9.
If you want to play with definitions, and this is being very liberal, you would say TNG had 2, and DS9 had 2, but you could use the forced contact as their uniform, and then Voyager the whole time was that one uniform. So if you wanted to, like, you could only choose one uniform per series. It'd be the collar for TNG. It would be the First Contact for DS9, and it'd be the jumpsuit.
That's true. I guess I wasn't counting collar versus no collar because they're so similar, but they are different. You're right.
Did Enterprise change at all? I don't think so. Right, in the 4 years they were all the same.
They had that weird thing in the last episode, but that was it.
Okay. So
it wasn't as long a road as we thought, but that's true. I was thinking of Enterprise, but that's a whole different time.
Discovery probably has the most.
It's got to, right? I would think so.
Well, you go from the beginning Discovery to once you're in the future, there's like
that too, right?
And technically, you have the redone TOS ones as well.
Yeah,
those were like guest costumes.
Yeah, but
Pike
it's still
had
that
to change
era.
his shirt,
Yeah, and technically they changed it when they got onto A Strange New Worlds anyways. So it was like that must be the shortest lived costumes other than like alternate universe stuff that we see.
I mean, in the world of the Replicator, is costume changing even that big of a deal? It's like, we've upgraded to the new level 4 costumes. Just put your level 3s in, hit the button. Okay, there we go. Fits perfect.
I'm trying to remember, not to derail your topic, but like the Discovery explanation, because Discovery, whatever, we're not being negative, we're just saying what we saw. Discovery introduced that in the 23rd century, that was the standard uniform, what you saw in Discovery.
Right.
And that, I mean, and you tell me if I'm wrong. And then when we saw the Enterprise wearing what we think of as the TOS uniform, that was like, that's the big starship or the special starship uniform.
I think, isn't that what they're saying? It was like like all the Connies had that uniform or something. I don't know.
I mean, that gets into the whole like TNG DS9 because they never say this. We sort of retcon like, space station
ship
wore jumpsuit.
Station. Yeah.
But then of course it changed to everyone wearing the same thing eventually. And then so.
Well, we're not going to talk about Generations because that was a fluke of, changing direction at the last second. But yeah, the ship versus station, I remember that. And that's all of our headcanon was like, oh yeah, if you're on a station, you wear, and I remember that.
That's like, so that's a common headcanon, right? Let's see if we can make it a little bit better. What if Deep Space, the replicators on Deep Space Nine were in such poor condition that they only had so much colored ink that they had to use just the top for that, and that's why and then they just kept it because it was just a style.
And then they ran out of any ink, and they had the gray. They just got sleeves and collars. That's it.
No, I mean, how many uniforms was Garrick pumping out? I mean, he's only one man or one Cardassian, so
he was using all the excess stuff. So
it still makes me think of what was it? Oh, I can't remember the episode where they bring him in to fit Cisco like while he's in a military debriefing.
It's Way the Warrior, I think, isn't it? I remember Worf being there.
Yeah, I know Worf was there.
It was because the Klingon invasion of Cardassia, isn't it?
Yeah. And,
where they're like talking, and Garrett's not supposed to hear any of this, even though we're in his shop.
He's like, "You sure?" No, this is like they're in the war room.
Yeah,
and he calls Garrick in, and then he's like, "Sir, do you sure you want me here?" He's like, "Nope, I need these measurements done right now."
Yeah,
and then he's like, "Is that all, Mr. Garrick?" He's like, "I think I have everything I need." It's like, a little wink and tap on the nose, like, and then immediately he's like, Golden God, they're gonna invade. We gotta stop. This is very bad. But,
so Daniel, as the most recent DS9 watcher, should Garrick's job exist?
No, I mean definitely not. But neither should Quark's. So,
Well, I mean, Garrick's job could exist if he was a replicator programmer. Like AI has taken all their jobs. You just have to be able to tweak the algorithm to get the type of clothes you want, or you just go full needle and thread, I guess.
He certainly would not need to take measurements with a tape measure. He would just be able to have their entire bodies.
Yeah, it was a scanner. It was a scanner.
Whatever.
Yeah,
what I'm saying, like the ship station scanner,
right.
Like everybody's body.
It should have been. He walks in, he holds up this little thing, goes beep, and it just boom. Takes a instant 3-dimensional scan, and it's no. You definitely wouldn't need a space ruler.
I mean, I could see that, say beyond a standard uniform, say you want something non-uniform, something special or something on your own. I mean, if you're not good at describing things to the computer, look, we've seen how they interpret a table. So, like, you would tell Garrick and he would be able to program
make
it
the sleeves longer. And the computer's like, beep, and they're like, on the floor. It's like, no.
Spaghetti.
Oh, gosh. Looks like Mr. Fantastic worked here.
That's how the Fourth Doctor got that scarf. He just said, give me a scarf. And,
All right, so that's a good point. Like, there's still a place for, manual labor of tasks, I guess, that have been automated.
Learning how to talk to a computer. I mean, that's a skill to be like, okay, I need 3 centimeters red and I need 4. And, like, you're just like, just tell Garrick, this is my idea. And he takes the time to actually make sure it gets done right.
So, like on the Enterprise D, do you think that anybody has clothes, or do they just go home?
That's why they just have big sweaters. The computers makes big sweaters for everyone. That's all you get.
They put the
one size fits all.
They put the uniform in the replicator, and it just and then just says, "I want casual Friday now." And
I think that's the problem. Because after 2 years, they're like, they don't fit. It stretches. Can we just get 2 parts? Can we? Because it's.
Well, and there's also, those would have to be down at the matter replicators, because the ones in the quarters are like food replicators, so they can do like a plate or a cup, but I don't think they're made for like industrial. Fabrication. It's the flagship, so they probably have industrial replicators in every. Because we do see an episode where like Worf is shopping, and he goes down to the pattern replicators, and then they spit out something, and then the kids get a teddy bear or something, and it's like your allotment of. Again, we're bumping up against a post-scarcity society, and it's starting to not make sense. But yeah,
well, no, I do get. I mean, you can argue, food is different from not food, so you could need different replicators because you want to be able to ingest what you're replicating.
Right.
I get there's 2 different, whatever.
So if you made a food-shaped thing with an industrial replicator, it's just not food safe. Like, don't actually eat it. It has no protein. It has no carbohydrate. It just looks like it.
Because we just were watching it, my wife and I. So basically, the replicators have a setting, cake or not cake, basically.
It could be that every replicator is just a receptacle, and it's all replicated at some bigger replication station somewhere deep in the ship. That way you could get anything.
But that also so you're telling me in the lower decks that are actually like, are this like the Hogwarts like cooks elves? Is what you're saying?
It doesn't count if they're not real.
You're saying the cobbler elves are making Starfleet boots down below on deck 31, and then they shove it through a pipe system. I mean, it does kind of make sense because they do often mention, especially in Voyager, replicators going offline, which infers that it's like its own system, kind of independent from electricity.
I do like how it's just beaming it. Like, it looks like, the replicator made it appear.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's the deck full of boots, and it just like beams the size 6.
Well,
I replicated a boot.
If I remember my technical manual, that it can't make something out of nothing. So I think it uses like the deuterium fuel is what is the matter, quote unquote, that it just recombines into whatever, molecule by molecule.
Assuming we're not dumping a bunch of stuff in space, I'm sure there's other materials that could be recycled that are
true closed system. I think I would have loved to have seen an episode, or at least a scene, doesn't have to be a whole episode, but a scene where we're on the holodeck or in a holosuite and someone's designing like the next Starfleet uniform, and they're just making alterations to a kind of like a dress form, but it's a hollow person just there, and they're just like stretching it out or, changing this and now I'm picturing like they're kind of there with like a little swipe gesture, and they're looking at like they have the ranks on the wrists again, but they're just like nope, like they're just trying different combinations of what looks good.
Well,
like yeah, it's a couple years away. We're not quite there yet.
I haven't really thought about it, but then when I did, it is kind of crazy because, as we said, TNG just the two uniforms, the onesie and then the twosie. But Admiral uniforms, when you start to pay attention, they had like 10 of them throughout the series. I mean, some of them are pretty basic. This is an audio medium. But because when I sit here and think TNG Admiral uniform, I just think, and it's also one they kind of used in DS9, where it's just the split down the middle of the gold, and it's like that. But that's,
yes, we're here to work on your Android. It's like, what?
There's one where it's like black in the middle, like in a V. Then there's one where it's like you sort of have that split
the slash,
and black on this side. And then you had the crazy one. I think it actually is from that one, Measure of a Man, where it's like I can't even describe it, where it's like they just go crazy with like the gold and everything.
Well, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we had canon that all admirals, like as part of being an admiral, you get to design your own admiral uniform. There is no standard, although maybe Nechayev goes with like basic admiral uniform 01 and just doesn't do any customization to it, and that's why it's so kind of normal.
So, like you upon getting that, go from captain to commodore or admiral or whatever, you meet with the woman from The Incredibles, and she's like, "Okay, which one would you like?"
With Edna Mode, and she's like, to tell you, I just like, as long as there's no capes, you have sleeves, you want red. It's like one of those computer programs where there's like a bunch of lines on the shirt, and you have to click the fill bucket in whatever sections, and it's like little red here and some black over here, and then they're like, okay, and print, and it comes out, and you're like, oh, no, I didn't like that.
Well, as someone who's going to have to, I say this, if I get promoted in my fan club organization, I mean, that's going to be my next uniform, because I'm right now, next one is going to be Admiral uniform. But anyway. And
you still haven't made Admiral, Philip? We have 334 episodes of this podcast.
So, I mean, most people know, or at least, this is even true in the DS9 one. But anyway, so the rank goes from being on pips on one side to double pips on both sides.
With the square around
You're like, okay, you're Admiral, that's fancy. But it's also on the sleeves, if you ever pay attention. So,
the pips are on the sleeves? Or the
you
bars?
You need 4 pips on an Admiral's uniform. It's the bars. But, so you'll have, because you'll have 1, 2 on your collar, and then you'll have 1 on each collar. It's like, they really want you to know their rank.
Area, yeah.
Yeah. But it's like super, we want you to know I'm an admiral. When I'll walk in, boom, 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 boom. Can't miss it.
If I remember it, they also had it looked a little more dress uniformy. Like the top tunic was a little longer. It wasn't like to the waist. I think it went down a little more. I need to find some more Badmirals. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's like to the butt. It's got
it's almost a jackety than a sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's not cool. The dress length, special uniform that goes down to the knees, but
yeah, it is very there is no casual admiral, at least not that we saw. Casual admiral uniform, because it's funny.
The admirals take off their top jacket and there's just a captain's uniform right beneath. Like they're like, I'm not going to downrank. Yeah, it still has the admiral pips, but I'm amazed of the transporting fabric, because we all remember when Ensign Ro took off her outer jacket and her comm badge beamed down into. No, we all know we didn't see her putting it on the lower layer, but it's
this does lead to a question, because I think with the DS9, when I say DS9, I mean First Contact, so I'll just say that. In the First Contact uniform, we've seen the layers, like underneath, because you can see the undershirt. Underneath your jacket, you have your undershirt, and then underneath your undershirt, at least for the men, which we saw from literally Star Trek First Contact, the movie, is Picard had sort of his A shirt, tank top, whatever you want to call it.
It's like a tank top, the purple shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you sort of saw the layers. Women probably wear some different stuff. But anyway, but for TNG proper, like I don't other than because the roasting you do, she has like a blue shirt underneath in that Ensign Row episode. But like as far as there's no, I mean, what did people have it? We don't know what the undershirt looks like on TNG.
Well, they have an undershirt when they need an undershirt. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. So we all know
Cisco
that.
has that huge vest too, right? Like but you would think, of course, that those actors are not wearing that when they're not. It's just the thing. Well, that's a good question, Philip. What are exactly.
There it is.
What are they? Are there federations? Not federations, but Starfleet's issued underoos that everybody has to wear, or what's going on?
Well, like in Enterprise, we saw
since the day of Enterprise. Yeah. What do you think, Daniel? Do you think Voyager should have upped to the first contact uniforms once they reestablished contact with they get a system patch update? You know, it's got some updates to their LCARs, a little bit of update to the bioneural, and here's our new specs for uniforms. Like, you're a little out of date. You know, even though you've been gone 4 years, maybe at that point, we've completely revamped all of Starfleet's uniforms in your absence.
You know, that's really funny, though, because there could be a funny line where they say, included in this update is the cheese vulnerability update, so that your bioneural and like we already fixed that problem.
Yeah, don't worry, guys.
We don't need your stupid update.
I feel like it'll be like, you're using LCARS orange, we're on LCARS purple now.
Yeah. Oh, you're using LCARS 5.4.3.2. We're using 5.4.3.5. Yeah, you're going to need to update.
You're using LCARS XP. You need to upgrade to LCARS 7. So.
Me? LCARS.
No, don't skip that one. Skip that one.
And that's why you're in the Delta Quadrant.
But I mean, I guess.
I mean, if real world considerations weren't there, like we all know that's expensive, and that's why they didn't.
But is it like that expensive? Like
DS9 did it. It's not like they were the money show.
I can't see it being that expensive. Like I have no idea how much. Like what? Like I don't know. 50 uniforms.
Can't reuse all those shots of people walking down the hallways. Otherwise, no, I'm just kidding. It's not
that probably is part of the consideration. But I do wish they did update. Because you get no sense. That's I mean, that's a bigger problem with Voyager, anyways. But you get no sense of the passage of time. There's no like in TNG. If you see a TNG season 2 episode, you're like, that's from season 2. I know exactly
what is it.
The synth music helps, but
well, and I think the only real passage is like when 7 shows up. It's like, is Kes there or is 7 there? Like, those are the markers of like when-ish kind of you are. I decided what I think should happen. So they all upgrade. Is either one or the other, but they all upgrade to the new uniform, but they can't change the Doctor's program. So he is stuck
I like that.
in the old blue uniform, or it's the reverse where no one changes and the Doctor is like, guys, I found this, they walk in and it's like, actually, I think the reverse is funnier because they walk in. He doesn't say anything, but they come into sickbay and he's just there in the new uniform. And they're like, Doctor, what?
Something different?
Something different. He's like, something different, Captain? Yeah. And they're like, he's like, I was reading through the update packet we got from Starfleet, and apparently this is what's in. Even if it was just one scene and they're like, Doctor, I prefer you to be matching the rest of the uniform, and he like shifts back. But like, even if we had that scene, I think that would have been hilarious.
Look,
like,
it's not like he wasn't already fitted for one. I saw First Contact.
Yeah. And that makes it even more sense because then all of the EMH updates have the new uniform. I think that would be so funny if he was in the new uniform for the rest of the show. Because it was season 5 that they made contact.
Yeah, with Barclay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's late enough to still have a lot of Voyager. And then you only having to change Robert Picardo's costume. So I think that would that's my new saying. Don't have to change all of Voyager. Just change the Doctor. And then the Doctor could have been twinsies and gotten Seven to also wear the new uniform, and they just start to slowly and then they get Kim to be a joiner because he's totally a joiner. And they just slowly start working through the crew. Neelix is he already has one. He had it folded up in his pantry or something.
I can see the day. And to me, I was always. I know you're against this, especially you, Daniel. But I could see Neelix just shows up after one. After they were in contact with Starfleet, because he's getting the letters or whatever. And he just shows up in a security uniform. Now I could see him being honest. I think he would already start with an enlisted rank. He wouldn't be "Oh, I'm a lieutenant commander."
I didn't know what rank to put, but it doesn't matter as long as I'm wearing the gold.
I figure I'm trying to get what would it be because I think crewman, various levels of crewman, and then maybe goes petty officer, third class or something.
Maybe petty officer.
But yeah, I could see him. He decides what his own rank is. Well, I've been here, 5 years.
He could just put one of the marquee ranks.
I was the captain of my own ship, so
provisional enlisted rank.
Yeah,
provisional enlisted captain. That's his. He just makes it up.
Just shows up, wearing the yellow security kind of.
And I like the thought of he has a Maquis rank because he's just I just looked up what they were wearing, and you didn't make them change, so why do I have to fall into Starfleet rules?
And then Seven shows up in a uniform, and it's Doctor, you lied to me.
Yeah, man, we were talking more about Voyager than I thought. I didn't realize we'd go deep down the Voyager rabbit hole. But
so, what Voyager episode did we need? That would be the Captain Jellicoe episode of someone putting Seven in a uniform.
I mean, my instant gut is Equinox, but that he doesn't really have much to.
He's creepy about her.
Yeah. I don't think that would be. It's come to my quarters and put this uniform on. It's no.
Yeah. I only have this holographic thing that makes me see you. That's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder, it could be. See, the problem. Well, not the problem, but the obviously the parallel with Jellicoe's an outsider, because I was thinking maybe something happens with Janeway and Chakotay's in command for a month or something, where it's kind of more than temporary.
Instead of the planet where they're both stuck on it, he's not, and Janeway's stuck with her bathtub.
Yeah, maybe she's in her quarters, or I don't know. I'm making this up on the fly, but it got to be a situation where it's not that Chakotay's not in command, but it's more than temporary. So it's Chakotay's making his changes, and then he'd be Seven, I think it's time for you to be in a uniform or something. But I don't know. The other would just someone else just comes in charge for. It doesn't work in Voyager.
I could see Tuvok being this is the standard or the requirement.
Yes.
I don't know. It's
I like a Tuvok's in command, and he's Seven, you're not on the crew. I don't. I mean, if you just want to help out with the aerobonics, because that's what Cass used to do, but you're not really authorized to do any of this, so.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because there's not really any Starfleet outsiders that have it's just all communication, communication with Admiral Paris, communication with Barclay.
That could be it. Seven just comes in with a uniform one day, and Janeway's "Oh, that's interesting." Seven's "Yeah, I was talking with Admiral so and so, and they were "Why aren't you in a uniform?" And so they gave me an order, and then it's awkward for a couple minutes.
Apparently, fabric tech has advanced in the last 7 years, and it now can work as for me. Fabric tech.
She wore that uniform once, the one time, remember?
She did, and the relativity, yeah. Which
and everyone was "Yay, finally!"
Yeah. It worked out. I don't know why.
Look, I'm not going to go too deep into this. I'm just going to float this concept of saying if the purpose is that we have to show off Jerry's body. Not that I would want, but if that was what they were saying. You could still do that in that uniform, Anyway, that's all. But I mean, I don't understand that being the reason they don't.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Troy. Troy looked great in that uniform as well. Just put her in the uniform.
I mean,
she gets a little station on the bridge.
You get the silhouette. Just seems weird that that if that's your excuse, which I mean, I don't like that, but I mean, if that's the excuse, it doesn't make sense. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we're kind of away from the catsuit era of Star Trek.
Because even T'Pol, I mean, not
T'Pol.
It's
T'Pol
uniform
was
related.
too.
We're not just going off on a tangent. I mean, it's I don't get that that's the Vulcan. I mean, I know it's kind of a robe. It's it's robish where the way things are sort of, but it's very tight
texture. But that's about as close to robe as it gets.
Yeah, but and it's then when she joined Starfleet in season 3, I believe I'm correct in that, or at least left Vulcan High Command, whatever.
Yeah, but her uniform is still not a standard uniform.
So. Now, of course, again, in another alternate version, we do see her in a uniform.
Well, in the mirror universe with no belly.
No. But it was the one where I think, now I'm going to feel like I'm going to get this wrong. It was the one where Archer gets hit by the anomaly, and it's the future where he can only remember a day, 31st dates or whatever, that episode.
31st star dates.
Yeah.
51st star dates.
Yeah.
So if they ever in a future season of Prodigy, if they ever make those the
coming any day.
Yes. Yeah. Well, in France, if they ever make those kids part of Starfleet, what kind of uniform is the Medusan going to wear, or Roktok, or?
Well, because they have uniforms.
Yeah, but they're not official uniform. Well, the white ones.
They had the product.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Oh my God! What's the name of the ship? The
Protostar.
Protostar.
Thank you. God, I was like Supernova. That's not right. There was the special Protostar uniforms.
Yeah. Well, and her, she just was painted in the colors of the uniform, and then they put a comm badge on her. That's what the Medusan would wear. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Although I don't know how she. Oh, never mind. She has arms and legs. I was going to say, how could she hit the badge? But then I remember.
Well, I was remembering because I did rewatch it recently, but now I've forgotten it all. In the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes of Prodigy season 1, they do show because that. Was basically the cobbled together Medusan thing, but Starfleet builds a new one, and you see. So it's all very I think if I remember
better,
it's very J.J. White. Yeah,
it looks like it's made out of one piece of metal rather than 20. Yeah, no, and that's true. There have been a lot of kind of one-off uniforms. I think of. When Wesley was testing, and there was that one officer that had the weird feet, so he had no boots.
Yeah, that's right. What?
No, I'm thinking of. I'm mixing that up. He saw the webbed hand, and he knew that he was the guy that he should yell at to be friends.
What about Wesley, just in general, though? Because when he first gets a uniform.
Right.
That's just made up. Somebody just grabbed that out of a closet.
The acting ensign uniform.
Yeah.
Although I have heard, because that gray that had the 3 color stripes woven in on the shoulder, that it actually kind of represents you're not committed to a division. You have the 3 divisions, kind of, that's why you're gray. And then you had the cadet ones where it's black with the color on top, but looked kind of different than DS9 still. I don't remember.
Well, I think the weird thing about Wesley's uniform is wasn't his comm badge fully silver?
Yes. It was so cool. I always thought that was so cool. When he got into that gray uniform, he looked like a monochrome thing walking around. I thought that was the coolest thing.
Behind
But I don't understand what that uniform is. Is that is there an acting officer uniform that you get to wear this strange color and everybody knows there's something different about you?
Look at the guy who's not a real officer.
Shoot that one.
Oh, you're right. I was just pulling up some pictures, and it's an all silver comm badge.
You know what?
I don't think I ever noticed that.
It's not quite like child mode, but like I think maybe it has like restrictions
Can't
on
access the full computer.
You can't go into the armory. You can't shoot the phasers.
No 18 above holodeck programs. They can tell.
Because we never ever see anyone else wear that uniform. So
no, but then later he's in, and when he's at the academy, you have the black jumpsuit with the higher collar, and then the elongated pips for the enlist. But yeah, spectacle. No, you're right. I don't think I ever noticed that was an all silver comm badge.
Darren, did you know? I'm not sure if you were aware, but about 10 years ago, they came out with the Ultra HD versions of Star Trek: The Next Generation. You may want to check it out. You could notice details like this quite handily.
All I noticed. Oh, what was it? I found a video on. This is very tangent, but I found a video on YouTube that was showing, like, I think it was like season by season, but it was like all of the flags and little, not errors, but just like means of production that you could see on the shot. So many times, because the LCARs on the back wall were so reflective that they would just take a piece of black paper and like tape it down in one little section just so that you wouldn't see the reflection of the lights in the backdrop. And it's one of those things where, like, yeah, on standard definition fuzz, like, it wasn't as bad, but yeah, in HD, you can, once they point it out, you're like, oh man, they're like, every other shot has something like this to keep it from reflecting. So I'm sure that's why they're like, yeah, next starship we design, we're not going to have giant reflective surfaces along the entire back wall that we shoot against. But all that to say, I think, yes, I will watch more HD TNG. You convinced me.
Starting with Encounter. When are we doing it, guys?
All right. Well, that was not quite the way I was thinking our uniform discussion was going to go, but it was definitely a lot of fun. Just talked a little bit about Voyager, a little bit about DS9. We touched on Discovery for a second, just the fact that they had many changes. Although I will say on Discovery, one thing, I haven't watched any of season 5, but I do know there's like a time travel episode, kind of like where Burnham goes back and sees her young self. And I understand the point of the scene where past, mutineer Berman in the standard sees Captain Berman. But she's also like, I know this can't be true, that I would be in that captain's uniform. I'm like, but you're not also concerned that it's red? And at this point, like, command
looks like it's from the future. And
no, but I mean, like, like, how did you know that that's a captain uniform? Like, you would have think like, oh, I went into security or like something like that. It was something like it stuck in my mind that time jump went between the change from gold being command to red being command.
Very good.
And that Berman wouldn't know that. She would be like, maybe the pips, but even then, like, I'm just like, how did you know that you're captain? Just by seeing that uniform. It doesn't.
Not forgetting what the pips look like, because it has that weird different collar emblem.
Yeah, it's again, but even just going off of the color, that's I think the bigger change is like, why are you?
I never
in
thought
red?
I'd be captain of engineering.
Yeah, never thought I'd be the chief of security. All right. Well, that's as much of Discovery as we're going to talk about. Philip, if someone wanted to talk to you about your next rewatch, especially in HD, limits it a little bit, where would they find you?
They can find me on Instagram on CAPTSFUFB, where I'm currently watching a video of a bunch of droids someone just posted.
You need to watch all of the Admiral uniform. You have to choose your Admiralty.
Choose your Admiral.
When you get there.
even not necessarily for series reasons, but for uniform reasons, Picard did give us some more options. We thought,
True.
Commodore LaForge. So that was sort of a different option. And then you had, I can't remember her name, the secret Romulan Vulcan, Commodore, whatever her name was.
Commodore O.
There you go. And then saw her uniform too. So
She's a Men in Black, but yes. And what about you, Daniel? If someone wanted to get you to find all of the silver communicators in all of Star Trek, where would they find you?
Well, there is only one.
I don't know. Maybe not. I didn't notice it.
Oh.
Maybe there's some
are they
another
shiny
one.
communicators, just like shiny Pokemon?
There can be only one, and you have to pass it around. That's why there's only one uniform. So, no, they can find me on the internet at One Up Dan. That's the number one, not the word.
And if someone wanted to talk to me about why I haven't watched TNG in HD in a while, then they can find me on drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI. The reason is droids. That's why. Well, again, thank you for listening to us, City Alpha 3, as we enjoy talking about Star Trek every week here on the Nerd Party Network. I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
We are stranded here on City Alpha 3.
Tonight, welcome to the Enterprise. The 24th century begins in a 2-hour world premiere television movie.
Go to yellow alert.
Hostile is now beginning to overtake us, sir.
The classic Star Trek legend continues. With an all-new crew, an all-new adventure. Star Trek, The Next Generation.